I've already said, yes. I swear to my finest salmon swirl lunch. Sure is a fine lunch. But, isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than that ever-feeble mind, Mr. Wright. This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. It was taken the moment after the stabbing.
Objection!
And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. See the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat? It's a black and white photograph. It's hard to tell, but it could be blood. No, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem except you. Mr. Wright, are we going to sit here and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Is there something wrong here? Blood splatter, sure. Hold on. If she... Oh, okay. I'm trying to think. If you stab with the right hand, I think it is her coat. But if you stab with the right hand, the blood splatter, yeah, it would go back on the right, I guess. I'm surprised the coat didn't fall off, because she didn't have her hands in there. Is there an objection here? I mean, we are in parking lot A. We're supposed to be in parking lot A. Yeah. I guess that's no problem. It's after. Now that you mention it, I see no problem here. Other than myself. Mr. Wright, you can't just let him walk all over you. That's just sad. Feeling sad, Mr. Wright? Perhaps a bittersweet first love lunchbox. Oh, that was a waste of time. Let's continue with the testimony. Wait, so I should have pushed it? Should I have pushed it? It was to raise an objection.
Objection!
I know, that's what I was thinking, like, I don't think there was an objection really there. So this is the same line we just did. And there was two different things. We presented the same picture to two different lines of testimony. Objection! That contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. That is sound advice. If you know you're gonna be hungry, just get the big one. Get the big one. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder.
Objection!
Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in the photograph. Those are gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. You can wear whatever you want. These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. A serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. How was it planned? She would need to have that. I also don't like that nobody's mentioned that if she did the final stabbing there, he would still be alive. Because of the stabbing. Maybe he was already dead. I don't know. I don't like this. Let's push it first, see if they give us a clue. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves? Like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one could make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated murder. Yeah. Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She got them thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. I'm trying to think of a way to show this wasn't premeditated. It's only a flesh wound. Stop. It's only funny the first few times. I think it wouldn't have been premeditated unless she brought a weapon herself. So I'm going to say that the knife itself. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell lunchboxes for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. Bloody murder weapon, red car, all belonging to prosecutors? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. My lunches! Order, order! Great, now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Oh, you are super optimistic. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. This is the only thing the prosecution need prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing... We would like to hear their testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Sounds bitter. Pretty bitter. Angel's deduction when she was literally told not to deduce. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. One knife stab. One. I don't even have to press. I just already know. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So if I order a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? That was good. In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Like, that was good. Like, this is the first time I'm so confident I can do this and just shoot the autopsy report. 1 knife wound. You said she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. Yeah, she did exactly what Edgeworth told her not to. That's why she's getting her butt kicked. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but have a look. The autopsy report states that the death was due to a loss of blood from 1 stab wound. You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. I did the objection. What about my objection? No one knows. I yelled and everything, and I pointed and... Witness. The crime scene set? Oh my gosh. Thanks? I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted a knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from the victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Tell us what you saw you thought you saw was blood. Testify. Testify! Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's why how ghastly the whole scene was. Her red muffler? Like a scarf, the chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can easily hang at a moment's notice, I suppose. So a scarf. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? Wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. That's fair. I judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only 1 knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. This is our chance. For what? Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her alibis as detectives really set her off. Short wick burns out fast is a scientific fact. Wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, it had more wax. Short wig will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Is she wearing it in her picture? She's not wearing it in the picture. I was like, it's not even there. Literally the photo that she gave the court, this lunch lady, she's like tripping over herself. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you proved it yourself with this photograph. What? That can't be! Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations! Perhaps you've finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. Again, we are the ones objecting. Was there a scarf? No, not that, but something red, really. Well now, where were we? The witness was giving us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. How did you apprehend it from if you were in parking lot B? I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. Next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Okay. Is there DLC in the second game? Anyway. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her and explained her rights to her and arrested her on the spot. Yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. You're quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra, who is also a snake. Double snake. That's me, Angel Star. It wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, cobra is kind of a snake. It was funnier when Spiff said it. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. No stuff. Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. Is there somebody that's strong against snake bites? Chief Prosecutor tried to resist, but efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, knocked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. Predator to this one, a leopard woman. Mr. Wright, you cross-examination, if you will. That's just full of holes. So, where is this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means the wall next to the car. That's right. There's a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. How'd you get there? You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her. Yeah, press her. I like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. Allegedly, car was... She was a visitor, thus she parked in parking lot B. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it just about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. No. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Okay, there isn't. I thought it went all the way up to the ceiling. It's about 9 feet high. So how did Miss Sky not get away? She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? If I remembered exactly, I would have told you my testimony. So remember it now and answer the question. Anyway, all I heard her was say the word muffler. No. First time I heard muffler, I thought about a car. Something about muffler makes me think she put something in the muffler. Just that one word? So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else. She was talking to Emma! Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Phone? She can't mean... Ask. By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the scene of the crime? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately. My memory is like a salmon heading upstream, you see. The court doesn't see, Miss Stark. Chief Prosecutor's first attempt to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently it was out of order. So she used her cell phone. The emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? What? You should, of course, add... Things I do to please the rookie defense. The word muffler was overheard during my... Yeah. I don't agree that she could see that. Yeah, she couldn't have seen that. She would just see her go around the side. I call BS.
Objection!
Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a professional grudge against Miss Lana Skye.
Objection!
The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you'd be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me and I'll make you cough it all up. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. The emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. What's the meaning of this? Cool music. It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie the witness has told the court. Where she was, I think. Because then she couldn't have got, like, where she saw it. She couldn't have been in B block. Because she said she got over to her quickly. I don't think she was there. Miss Skye tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie, I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Skye using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. That's fair. Fair. Super fair. Muffler is very interesting. I feel like it was a... I don't know. We're going to talk to Emma after this. Let me ask a question to our clever swordsmith. So where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard up until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Starr witnessed the crime was here. She had to be able to see this. She had to be able to see this. I think she was in the security room.
Take that!
I think that's the answer. It's the only place she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places she could have seen that phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place she could have seen the crime in the back of the partition is here, in the security room. Remember your testimony. You said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security room, yes? Well, Miss Starr? How many years have I been getting the better of men? To think the tables could be turned. Today the man has got the better of Angel Starr. You're lying. Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. Is she talking about Miss Skye? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make any sense. She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. So who took the picture?
Objection!
It still stands? I disagree, Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. Tell us what a reason, Miss Wright. Hmm? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright! Let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must be a vital difference, but what? What would change? The angle to view the crime. Because in that picture's really weird. Who took that picture? Why, the angle at which she saw the crime occur would change. What do you mean? Well, the security guard station is on the second floor. She would have sort of a more 3D view of the crime, because we don't live in 3D even when we're on the floor. It's logic. This is important. Why? Dang it, it was wrong. Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. The other option was distance and something else. Distance and different in lighting? I don't think lighting has anything to do with it, so we're going with distance. We did angle first, Brick, and it wasn't working. Change the distance between her and the crime scene.
Objection!
My condolences, Mr. Wright. With one look on the floor plans, it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see why that would change what she could see.
Objection!
What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Witness? You. Yeah. You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend? He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Oh, wow. Wow! That was why I had to go through the visitors parking and B block. It's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? Changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have a photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. I mean, sporks are pretty good. And the spork is a wonderful invention. I agree with the judge. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do you have any evidence to stop this? It said 5 minutes. The only thing with time on it is our phone when a call was made and when they entered the lot. Cause of death caused by a 4.5-inch blade, single stab wound was found. Time of death between 4 and 5:30. Well, this plus 5 minutes would be when the call was. Too many pushes again. What's wrong? You look like you're like I do during finals. Never mind, it's nothing. Okay, so the evidence we have, because Brick's having a charm, not being able to see it really well, is we have that. The knife. Can we tell how? Oh, we haven't even actually looked at this yet. Must be the victim's blood, right? Either that or Edgeworth cut himself peeling an apple. What's Edgeworth doing with a knife like this anyway? Hey, maybe he spends his weekends roughing it in the wild. No. No. Fruit peeling theory is a little better. Are you kidding? I always pictured him as an outdoorsman. No. Looks like I can't click anything else. Okay. We have the knife. We have the parking ticket that shows when Edgeworth came into the office lot at 5:12. We have the autopsy saying they died between 4 and 5:30. We have this memo that doesn't help me. And a call at 5:18. Any evidence to stop that it took 5 minutes? Why is she standing there for 5 minutes?
Objection!
5 minutes between the witnessing the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You can make a pasta in that amount of time. If you like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, Bricky. A 5-minute blank? Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? I guess I'd flee the scene. Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yarg! Yarg! I say. We've come to the end of this testimony, where she's a big fat phony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant, and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth is the next witness ready to go. Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright! That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Hold it! Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Ooh, a triple-decker. Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. If I get that triple lunch. You're sure about this decisive evidence? Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. She's gonna pull out of her lunchbox this time. Wow. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was blood found on the shoe? Why did she have the shoe? Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you've had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in fornistics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right? Seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the Fornistics Department. And as you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty solemn. You could at least study some evidence law, really. Prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against your witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. White enamel shoe bear traces of blood from Goodman and Sky. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. I'm gonna push her because she's rude. Why'd you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my own eyes. Compared to that, 5-minute blank means nothing. Why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. Then this is when the suspect is admitting she did it. False testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with. No, you didn't bring this up. And you found this shoe at the scene of the crime? I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So, like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe is my security weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. That's what it sounds like to me too, Brick. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag. Really. Removed valuable piece of evidence from the scene of a crime. Tell us what you did next. Which is also a crime. So she's probably going to be arrested. 2 dozen blood were found in the shoe? Yep. That's great. You brought it to the Forensics Department? If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. She got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe would appear to have bloodstains on it. Well, the man was stabbed, after all. And that blood belongs to Detective Goodman? As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. And the other blood type was matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, Ricky? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and A, B. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether... Oh. Phoenix. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types of all the blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just 1 person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone but Lana Sky. So the suspect's blood... Oh, so there wasn't DNA done on her blood. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. Balls. It's flawless, decisive evidence. You said that last time. Can't let this evidence go through without a fight. The peppered fish guts? Ugh. Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. Isn't enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or do not have any problem with this shoe? Do I have a problem with this shoe? Yes! I don't know why. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with his evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. Wish you couldn't take the heat. Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What's contradictory about the victim's shoe? Why is there blood on the bottom? Is the name written in it? No. Why is there blood on the bottom?
Take that!
I wonder if you notice. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or to be blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. Could possibly contradict the blood on the bottom of the shoe. There's no blood on the floor. And literally, this is another time we use the photo that she brought in. Problem lies in the footprint. Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. This isn't the victim's shoe, this is the defendant's shoe. Right? Isn't that strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found on the scene of the crime? As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints in the scene. That contradicts your claim about this shoe.
Objection!
This picture only shows paw to the floor. There could have been bloody footprints.
Objection!
It's the victim's shoe? Okay. Okay. I thought it was her shoe for some reason. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. And there's no pool of blood. There's that too. You know, there'd be a pool of blood to get your shoe in it and then walk around it. What? Great going, Mr. Wright. But it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction, but then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? Hold it! Oh, they don't give Edgeworth a hold it? I see. Now I get it. A witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There's one vital hint to the truth in that her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. Chief Prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, knocked over an oil drum. She's beautiful and deadly. A predator, this one. I thought that was a strange thing for a normally cool-headed chief to do. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth, though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belted in the lunchbox factory. Was the oil drum empty? That's the big question. The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? Oh, they're gonna say it washed it away? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase bloodstains that would become evidence against her. It's an oil drum meant to hold oil. At this point, I guess it was filled with water. Random. Ties things up nicely. Bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie her quite clearly to the murder. After the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty. Erasing evidence. Reminds me, Miss Sky's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe? So no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something! What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she's trying to conceal it. But... Enough. There's no need for further debate. Your verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Star is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant Miss Lana Sky. Objection! Hold it. Little girl, what did you say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side? Yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well? I thought you had your fill, but here you are, demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox, called evidence. Wait, so tell me you have something else. The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments, and you'll be held in contempt of court. And if there was water, why would she wash up the blood? I don't know. I think they're lying. She's lying. Your threats don't scare the cough up, Queen. Look at this. There is something in the muffler. You can see it. Photograph. I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. See no room for error in this evidence. That's right, wait! Look at the asphalt on this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet! Erasing the last trace of the doubt in court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. Sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the... Oh, no, you can't say that, even in your head. I gotta believe you can win. Maybe this is what your sister wanted anyway. Sorry, Mia. Right? Wet or not? Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt, take another good look. Don't give up, not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well, the time I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Objection!
Objection!
Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can't I hand down verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it will be... Yeah. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, right. Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah. There is a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. Suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Mr. Wright, show the court the problem with this photograph. I mean, the shoe's not on. And this is wet. I kind of want to say his foot. He's not wearing the shoe that he would have to be able to walk around in. Right?
Take that!
No. Not that. As your elder, Mr. Wright, let's give you a piece of advice. When you point at something, at least remember you keep your eyes open. Dang it. Oh, wow, they're not even giving me, like, negatives. Cool. I want to point to the shoe.
Take that!
No, it's not the shoe. Is it the wet?
Take that!
Okay, it's not there. Am I pointing at the muffler now? Because that's the only thing I can think of. Because there's something in the muffler.
Take that!
Problem is this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Which one? Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor. You said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or a scarf or any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also part of a car, a motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe. Oh, I see. I'm old. I still don't know that. What's that suspicious-looking claw sticking out of the car muffler? So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? It's where the person died. Everything's part of that case.
Objection!
Wow. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. She's literally the reason we have so much stuff against the case. Best witness ever. Also, to be clear, one of the reasons I'm actually able to go close to 5 hours today is because I woke up from a nap beforehand, and I was asleep for 4 hours. Just to be clear. It's the only reason I'm able to go as far long as I'm going. Let's hear what Mr. Wright has in mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to the case. She said muffler. This.
Take that!
Miss Starr, recall your testimony to the court. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me so confused in my earlier testimony. Also, I'm a big fat liar who hates everybody who tries to find people guilty. Yarg! You're welcome, Brick. Thanks for being here. Maybe that muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe. If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Yarg! Well, it seems we have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If there's any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all of the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Woo! Woo! But, you know, we made it. At least for now. Court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. For lunch. Oh! It's not a full day. It's just go get it, bring it back. He's still hungry? Wow. Wipe that sweat off your show. Cool. Well, we'll continue this tomorrow. Because